Hi everybody, welcome to yet another video. So this one's a bit different. It's also quite short, so I'll try and talk fast to get it all in. Those who watch the channel have watched it for a few years know that we actually have access to a house. We share it with the family, effectively. It's a family thing that was handed on. So I go over to Spain sometimes and I do a bit of spraying. So I bought a compressor over there which was 50 litres. So it's a 50 litre capacity and it's about 14 CFM, so about 10 CFM free air delivery. And one of the reasons for hooking this video out, well, it's two really. One, because of the gun, because it's actually quite a good all-round gun. It's the Sagola 3300 with the Evo cap. Now they make quite a few different caps. They make the GTO HVLP, which is well, as it says, a HVLP cap. So that's normally used for base coat. They do a GTO Tech, which is like a general. It'll do base coat and it'll do clear coat. And it's the more refined cap. So you would normally use that for clear coat and for base coat for automotive finishing. They do an EPA cap, which is normally in 1.6 or 1.8, not the cap, the tip. Which is for high build primer, which is actually really, really good. I bought one of those home. One of the things you can do if you go to Spain is actually get Sagolas quite a bit cheaper than you can in most other places. So it's very handy to be able to get them and bring them back, which is what I often do. I mean, not these days really, because I've got enough of them, but it's what I initially used to do. But one of the things I wanted to say about this is the Evo cap, which is normally like a wet on wet or a wet on wet primer cap or sealer, as a lot of people would call it, primer sealer. But it's actually not too bad for clear coat either, as we're seeing here. And I bought the gun, and the idea was to bring it back, but somebody gave me something to do. I've got a bike out there, and I meet other people with bikes and so on. And we ended up spraying this. I did the base coat and the clear coat for it, in fact. So the Evo cap is I found actually a good all-rounder. I don't use it for wet on wet too much. But I have used it for clear coat, and you see it in this video for clear coat, and I think it's actually really good. One of the good things about it is it doesn't use loads of air. They say 9 CFM or 9.5 CFM. I reckon it's about 10.5 CFM. But as I said, what triggered me to get this video out was the fact that recently I've been doing some car bumpers and also the wings, and when you do a bumper, a reasonable sized car, a bumper takes around about 380 millilitres of clear coat, between 350 and 400, so say 380, and a wing will take like 140, 160, something like that. So it's nearly 500 millilitres of clear coat, which actually is what this tank takes on the outside. So it's quite a big tank, but it's quite comparable. Now on the first coat of clear, I forgot to switch the compressor on, so I was running purely on the tank, and it did it fine. It was actually, there wasn't quite enough pressure at the end, but as I say, that's without the compressor on. So don't get hung up too much about having a small compressor with not a huge output, because you can actually get round it. You keep the product open for as long as you can, and that allows you to do it in stages. It's, people say, well, somebody said to me the other day, it was a HVLP gun. I can't remember which HVLP gun it was. But they said to me about the, you must have a big compressor then to run that. And I actually have, back in the UK, I've got 2 compressors linked together. So it actually works absolutely fine. But you could run it, not the big HVLP guns, not your LS 400s, your X 5500 SATAs, because they just really, really drain it. But something up to sort of like 11, 12 CFM, So like some of the Porfish HBLP guns, the DeVille Bis, not the HV30 cap, but you would be able to run them on a relatively small compressor, so don't get too hung up on it. Yes, you will need air. The quality of air is more important. If you looked earlier, you would see me, I bought a filter set out there, because somebody I know uses the exact same filter set, and I thought, well, I'll get it because it's not as expensive as the one I've got in the UK. So I've got it, and I just leave it over there with the compressor. So if I get a spraying job to do, I can actually do it. The clear coat in this was something called Dermatology. The person got it. I think it's a cheap own make. There's a supplier in Spain that has this make called well, as best I can say it, I think it's Dermatology is the way they would say it, although it sounds like some kind of skin rash, but that's what it is. But I think you'll agree it actually came out really, really nice for what's supposed to be a primer gun. So a primer gun, doing it outside and doing it with a compressor that in theory should be too small for the amount of clear coat you're spraying, worked absolutely fine. So yeah, it's just a way of trying to get over, really, that you don't actually need to have everything you need perfect. You can actually get a reasonably good job without having everything as it should be. One of the things you'll notice about the 3300, if you get one or you've got one, it has what they call their metal on metal technology, so there's no gaskets or anything like that. But it feels, I mean, it's quite heavy, but it feels really, really solid and really well made, and it is really well made as well. So I don't expect to get any problems with them. I don't use them. I don't use these loads, to be fair. I keep this as a wet on wet primer gun if I need it. I love the 1.8 version. The 1.8 version with the EPA cap is brilliant for primer. It's probably my favourite primer gun. I used to like well, I still do like the ANI F160, but it certainly seems to be, it certainly seems to be a touch above that, but it is much more expensive. I think I paid for this about 100 at the time, about 169 euros. And that was about 3 years ago. They have gone up now in Spain, but they're half the price they are in the UK. Yes, which is equivalent to about 150 GB pounds. What's that in dollars at the moment? About 200 US dollars. So if you're in the US and you're looking at this and you think to yourself, well, we're paying much more than that, which you are, because since Alchemeta took over it, the prices have gone up, but they seem to have stayed stable in Spain and Portugal, people tell me, because I know people have contacted me from Portugal. And because they're the Balearics, so that not the Balearics, the Iberia Peninsula, the shipping is normally the same. So Portugal and Spain, they sort of tend to get the same shipping rates. But as you can see, it came out lovely. It's a lovely, lovely colour. The guy supplied everything, and I did a video a couple of years ago now, I think, of doing the base coat. But I thought I would dig this out. What I was saying about the doing some bigger jobs on cars, it's no more material often than the bigger stuff with bike stuff. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video as always. Cheers, thanks for watching, bye bye.